the Manchester derby now, and it was a drab affair at Old Trafford as United and City played out a goalless draw. United remained down in 13th, while City missed the chance to break into the top four.
I think they need to show a bit more courage. They all show images of ex-players, people like Canton in the crowd, and we go back to the managers I played with other teams. And I know you might say this team's not as good as that, obviously not. But there's a responsibility, I still think, when you're playing for Manchester United to try and win football matches, and I still don't think they're doing enough to win matches. You look even over the last 3 or 4 games, where, yeah, they beat Leicester, but they drew home here to Arsenal. They lose at Forest. They draw here, and it's almost, oh, well, I still think they need to do a bit more, gamble a bit more.
But do you think that's
not necessarily silly, getting everyone in the box, but when you get moments, to take more risks. And there is that element when you play for Man United, there is that when you're watching the player play for Man United, that they are prepared to take risks, particularly the attacking players. And I don't see enough of that.
You keep going back to your teams, and your team had that mindset. Maybe this
it's got to come from the manager, the staff. They've got to try and get it into the certain leaders they have in the dressing room. I'm not saying they can all be like that, but you have to have a few lads. You go, they've got experienced players out there. They're not Maguire, Casemiro, Fernandes. Did they get a grip of these players? They're all applauding and they're all getting interviewed after. Go, yeah, but as if a draw's not too bad. A draw gets you nowhere fast. I like to play for teams with philosophies. Is we like to win football matches. I like that philosophy. I don't ever remember sitting in a dressing room with the players I played with and some decent players at other clubs, including Forest and brilliant managers, where we discussed our philosophy or what way we're going to. We'd find different ways to play. Man United were trying to play out today and got caught a few times, and I'm like, I don't like that. There's times for it. But if that's the way, if they're going to go down that road and they're picking up results and you're going, do you know what, they're scoring plenty of, but I don't see it. My eyes don't lie to me. No, I'd like to be proven wrong, and Man United are in the top 5 or 6 next year. You're going, I'll take it all back. But I don't see it. I've watched the game. I've seen a few live games lately. I watched Forest the other night. I was kicking my cups of tea over. I was watching, and all I hear was they're neat and tidy, but they were never going to score. Never going to score. No goals again today. Part of playing for Man, you're going to go back to responsibility for when you're playing for a big club and you're getting all this, the big contracts and all the reward. Is a responsibility to win football matches. Ultimately, is that what we're here for?
I don't think there was one player walked off that pitch at the end that was disappointed about drawing the game 0-0.
From either side?
From either side. I think they all sort of walked off thinking, oh, we're OK here, and got away without making a mistake. I think that was the sort of type of game. It was really disappointing, and I apologise for my cold commentary, actually. I think I let it get to me. I was boring on there as well. That was drab as well. Honestly, just the whole game. There's part of me, I get what he's saying about it being that point in the season, about City United are in a difficult moment. But this robotic nature of not leaving our positions, of basically being micromanaged within an inch of our lives, of not having any freedom to take a risk to go and try and win a football match, is becoming an illness in the game. It's becoming a disease in the game. And I think ultimately, think about Pep Guardiola and his teams over the last 10 years, that's what his teams do. But we're seeing poor imitations of that across the board now. You know, United's goalkeeper rolling his foot on the ball and waiting for things to happen. That's not it. That's not what this club is. That's not what we do here. You know, Liverpool don't do that. You've got to be a top team with tempo in your play, rhythm in your play, get the ball moving, shift it quickly. And also, I think from a United perspective, I get why he's gone deep. I get why he's gone back into a sort of, like he called it, a low block. But that's what we've seen from Jose Mourinho. It's what we've seen from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. It's what we've seen from Erik ten Hag. They've all come in with the intention of playing high press, high energy football, but all end up going back to a low block in big games. And I do understand why Ruben Amorim's done that today with the players he's got, because he hasn't got the players to adapt. They need 5 new players, Manchester United, straight away before you even think about the rest of it. The 3 up front are not good enough. The 2 behind and the 1 and the 2 wing backs, they're not good enough. So they need 5 players. They need to serve him with 5 players who are good enough in this system to be able to play his system the way he wants. But the game today really was quite depressing for me, because I think we've seen a lot of these types of games, and the Premier League is about excitement, it's about thrill, it's about risk, and there was nothing like that in that game, so that's not good enough.
But just on Manchester United, Gary, he said there, candidly again, we need to do everything, we need to improve everything. Oh, no, but also, he's in a rush.
But he's very honest.
So something got to give.
I actually think he's really honest, because he says they need to improve everything.
Are you all right, Gary?
No one's got good words to say about anybody.
Today.
No, to be fair, you come back to the sort of basic essence of football when you play as a kid in the yard, in the school playground, or in the backyard as a kid, and it's exciting and there's a thrill to it. And 75,000 people have rocked up today. There might be Manchester City fans, kids who are coming to their first Manchester derby at Old Trafford. There might be kids who are coming to watch the first Old Trafford Manchester derby for United fans, and they've watched that. And that's why I feel just sometimes, I get 0-0s can happen, but that game today wasn't a game. That's not a Premier League game of football. It's not representative of the Premier League. It's not representative of Manchester City now they've been over the last few years. And seeing them walk around at the end together, sort of clapping, sort of shaking each other's hands and smiling with each other. Where was the disappointment that they'd played like that in a game or that they'd drawn 0-0? This is an exceptional team with one of the greatest coaches of all time. And there was no intensity whatsoever from them. And United are in a difficult moment, but there's no intensity from United or risk to win the game. That's why I'm disappointed.
Strong words from Gary Neville there, and Ruben Amorim was asked about them in his post-match press conference.
I understand everything. I understand that Gary Neville is critical about everything, so I understand that part. And then I understand that we are not fighting. We are in the moment that we are doing the worst season in history. Manchester City won everything in the past. This season is struggling, so we are not in the best moments to give the best spectacle to every fans. And then when we are not fighting for the big things, of course it's different. But you have to look at the context of the game, and I understand the critical aspect of the players that played in this game in a different way, because they were fighting every time for the titles. So it's a different context.